you also moved to Israel as a teenager. So was there a culture shock? Was that a big transition for you?
I actually grew up in a very Zionist home, a secular home, but with deep Jewish traditions. Somehow, I grew up in Manhattan. Somehow, by the time I was 11 or 12 years old, I had read so many books, I knew that I was moving to Israel. It's called Aliyah. It's going up when a Jew migrates to Israel. And it was only a question of whether my parents would do it or not. If they didn't, then I'd have to wait till I finished high school. And
you knew at 11 whether or not your parents were going to do it.
Right. And then, happily, when I was 13, my parents decided to do it. So we moved as a family. And yeah, sure, there were some cultural changes. And certainly, my Hebrew was pretty basic at the time. So the first couple of years were hard from that point of view. But I felt at home pretty much from day one.
Is that a trend that has been slowing or speeding up? Or is that something that is causing that affects the demography in Israel? And a lot of these calculuses about settlements and other sorts of stuff is how many people are actually coming back to Israel.
There were 2 or 3 big migrations in Israeli history. There was in the early years in the 50s. Well, there was the first one post-World War II, the remnants of European Jewry. The second one was from the Arab world in the 50s. There was 2 big Russian Jewish immigrations in the 90s, in the 70s and in the 90s. And there were 2 big immigrations from Ethiopia. Most of Israel's population are either immigrants or children, first or second generation of immigrants. The number of people who've immigrated from the United States is actually quite small. Most of those who do so today tend to be Orthodox. The number of secular Jews who do it is pretty small.
Mm-hmm.